I would say Kenya is it's the closest thing to the United States.
Okay.
Rwanda looks like the United States, but it's nothing like it.
What do you mean by that?
The infrastructure is very similar, but it's not easy to do a lot of things, and it's not easy to get a lot of things either.
My good people, how are you doing? So it's your boy Evans, and guys, we are here to talk about African diaspora and everything African. African Americans who are looking towards coming to Africa, this is the channel for you. Here we learn and we tell truth unapologetically. We don't apologize for telling the truth in this channel. So today we are going to talk about the challenges and the problems our brothers and sisters, the African Americans, are facing when they move to Africa. So today, as an example, we are going to use the nation of Tanzania. So these things that I'm going to tell you do not only apply to Tanzania, they also apply to other countries in Africa. We have Ghana, we have Kenya, we have Uganda, we have Gambia, we have Sierra Leone, we have South Africa. These are major countries that African Americans are choosing to move to. And if you're watching from other parts of the world, just be considerate of these factors. So let's hear from our sister what she's going to tell us about this, and then let's dive in.
It's just many of us come here and we're middle class. Some of us lower class, and we don't have a lot of money, so it's just very pricey to live here long term. The good, the bad, and the ugly on the continent of Africa, specifically Tanzania. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Where do I begin? Let me begin with the good.
The Americans are living USA. They've been living USA, coming to Ghana, and as I have always told you, Ghana is not the only country Black Americans can settle in. We have other countries in Africa. Some of these countries is also Gambia. We have Cameroon, we have Senegal. But you know, Ghana is the first country that opened its doors. A country south of Kenya, a country in East Africa that is also known for welcoming repatriates from America to Africa. We're going to see the good and the bad side of living in Tanzania as a Black American. Because she's mature, she's old enough to tell the truth, she's old enough to have enough experience to give you who wants to come to Africa. Because this is what is happening in Tanzania. If it happens in Tanzania, it can also happen in Ghana. So I want you to pay keen attention. If you want to come to Africa, if you want to come to Tanzania, if you want to come to any other country, have a look at this video and then let's meet at the end.
Good is Tanzania is a beautiful country. It is very tropical, very warm, very peaceful. The people are very kind and friendly. They say karibu, which is welcome everywhere you go. So I love that part about Tanzania. It is just a beautiful place. I feel at home, and I just love it, love it, love it. Yeah, so that is the good. One good part of being in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Another good piece of being here is the food. The food is very fresh and organic. Everything is natural, so I like that. And the living and the lifestyle is a bit more of a natural environment, in that you can just be who you was created to be. You don't have to wear makeup. You can just, you know, wear your hair natural. You can just be who you were created to be. So I love that natural part of living here. It reminds me of, in the biblical scriptures, it talks about how the Israelites used to live and how they used to live off the land and how the ladies used to dress. And it reminds me a lot of how they live here. This is why I love it so much, the environment and the culture. For example, they eat chapati, and it's like unleavened bread. And so it reminds me of unleavened bread in the biblical scriptures. They also eat a lot of ugali. Ugali appears to be, in my opinion, when the Most High talks about He rained manna from heaven, that's what I think about when I think of the ugali. Because for ugali, it's like wheat grain, like wheat or some type of grains, like flour or meal type, corn flour, corn meal type, and then they can eat it as porridge for breakfast, or which is different kinds, but they can eat it like for breakfast and for dinner. So for dinner, they just let it harden up and they eat it with different vegetables, or they can eat it for breakfast. So it's like something that's very sustainable. It's better for you than rice. So, and it digests easy. It's easy on the digestive system. So I just love Tanzania in that instance. Those things are what I really love about Tanzania and about being here. Now, the bad. The bad is
and so it's important to note that experiences might differ from one person to another. Another person might have faced X, another person might have faced Y, but they always differ. Okay, this is something that you should consider. So those are some of the challenges that our sister passed through. Now we want to look at some of the potential challenges that some African Americans, or African Americans rather, face when they move to Tanzania. So without further ado, let's go to the first point. We have cultural adjustment. This is a very, very big problem for African Americans, but with time, these things, it's not like you enter Tanzania today and you know it by tomorrow. No, they take time. It's a function of time for you to discover these facts. So cultural adjustment, adapting to a new culture and a way of life can be challenging for anyone. Black Americans may need time to understand and integrate into Tanzanian customs, tradition, and daily life. I don't think these points need a lot of things to discuss. Cultural adjustment is just a function of time. Take time, slowly by slowly, you're learning things. So cultural adjustment involves the learning of the language of that place, because when you are able to learn a language, you're able to communicate. Communication is a basic skill of the human kind, basic skill, So let's move to the second one, which is language barrier. Swahili is the official language in Tanzania, and while English is widely spoken, not everyone is fluent in English. Everyone knows Swahili. You see, Swahili started in Kenya and then it moved to Tanzania. It was born in Kenya, it has grown up in Tanzania, and it died in Uganda. That is what my professor told me. So learning Swahili is very easy. It's not difficult, because Swahili is a hybrid language. Some languages are borrowed from other cultures and other languages. We have some words which are taken from Urdu. Urdu is Hindi. We have words that are taken from Arabic. We have words that are taken from the Persians. Persians are the people from Iran, not Iraq. Some languages taken from Portuguese, you see. So Swahili is a hybrid language which makes it easy to learn. Now when you are in Tanzania, you will notice that a huge majority of those people do not speak English. Actually, they even speak Swahili in their schools. Lessons are taught using Swahili. So my question was, in Tanzania, how do they teach chemistry in Swahili? Or rather, how do they teach calculus, which is a very complex mathematics, in Swahili? It's a challenging thing, but if the people in that region can do it, then you, my brother, you, my sister, you can also do the same. You can always learn and adapt. So Swahili is very easy, and that is another challenge that people are passing through. Cultural adjustment, we have the language barrier. But once you learn Swahili, my friend, you're ready to go. African Americans mostly choose the rural areas to stay. For my research I've done, the rural areas. These rural areas will get the people from the village. These people from the village don't know much about English. So this might be a challenge for you, my brother and sister. Now we have the third one, which is a very, very big problem. But it's possible to overcome it, okay? Now we have visa and immigration issues. Visa is a very, very challenging thing for African Americans trying to move to Africa. But remember, it's challenging, not impossible. We have a big difference. So navigating Tanzanian immigration and visa regulation can be complex. Ensuring proper documentation and adhering to the rules is crucial to avoid legal issues. Just try to do this. Abide by the laws. If you are told after 3 months you need to leave, then it's good to follow the rules. And then until we figure out how you can live in the country forever and attain residency, that's the best way to go. Because if African Americans are living here, brothers and sisters who are looking to come to Africa, it's possible for you to move to Africa. Yeah. So I'll also make a video about acquiring citizenship in Kenya. I'll do it for Kenya because right now I'm in Kenya. Yeah. Now the fourth one, we have discrimination against the African Americans. Africans sometimes might discriminate against African Americans. Yeah, it happens, but in a rare occurrences. So in some instances, Black Americans might encounter discrimination or bias from locals or even other expatriates. We've seen these things. The other day I did a video about how African Americans, some of them are misbehaving in Tanzania. And I was told that some African Americans, they're not united when they're in Tanzania. Each person wants to live in their own. So there's that isolation and discrimination. But once you realize that we share the same values, I think it's high time African Americans, when you are in a different country from the one which is USA, even in USA, should learn to come together, at least make a group. Unity is strength. Unity is always strength. It's important to always find somewhere to call home, somewhere people to call friends. And these people, you can find them in Africa. When you're unified, it's very hard for someone to attack you. You see? Some other expatriates can look against African Americans, which is so bad. So while Tanzania is known for its welcoming and diverse culture, prejudices exist. I did a video about this girl who was abused. She was sent home. She was sent back to the United States by the community because of her way of dressing. She was living close to Islamic people, and you know the rules of Islam. They are very, very conservative. So because she was dressing differently, this girl was forced to leave Tanzania and move to another country. I think she chose Ghana. Yeah, she chose Ghana. I did a video about that girl back then. Yeah, I remember. So we have number 6, healthcare access. Healthcare access. Healthcare standards in Tanzania might not be on par with that Black Americans are used to in the United States. Always remember, this is Africa. This is not the United States of America. So access to quality healthcare can be a concern, especially in rural areas. It's good, like if you're even living in a rural area, stay close to the main road or stay close to an urban center where you can always reach out easily. Yeah, don't move inside, no. Stay close to a main road or close to an urban center, which is very, very important. I always advise people to do so. Now, number 7, we have education. Education in Africa is not the same as education in USA. Africa is not USA. Some people come back to Africa. They're trying to make Africa a small USA, but Africa can never be USA. Africa is Africa. Now, finding suitable educational opportunities for children can be a concern. You see, international schools might be expensive. Really, those schools are really, really expensive. And the Tanzanian education system may be unfamiliar. I just told you the other time that Lessons are taught in Swahili. In Tanzania, lessons are taught in Swahili. You'll just be dizzying around. Your child will be sleeping. While the maths teacher is teaching, but teaching in Swahili, they don't understand. So here is why language barrier and education become a challenge. These are being a challenge for African Americans. But learn, you need to adjust. You need to adjust to the customs, to the culture, to the ways of living in that country. You need to adjust. Now, number 8, we have safety. While Tanzania is generally considered safe for travelers, like any place, there can be safety concerns, you see. Understanding local safety, precautions, and being aware of your surroundings is essential. I don't have to say this again. Safety, 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 safety. Most African Americans are always being attacked by Uber drivers in Tanzania. Also Kenya, I heard of such cases. Uber drivers and Bolt drivers, these taxi companies, they attack people. But you always be cautious. Always be cautious of somebody who is riding you and somebody who is talking to you. Always check your surrounding. Don't just move. Check around yourself. See, is everything okay? If everything is okay, you can move. So in as much as I'm saying these things lightly, they're really important, and the information I'm giving here is really important for you guys. Don't take them lightly, just take them as equally as important as other information you have also. Now we have the last one according to me, cultural misunderstanding. What Africans don't love is gazing. Africans, most of us, we don't love gazing, we don't practice gazing. So if African Americans might come to Kenya, might come to Tanzania in this case, with the thought of practicing gayism, they might suffer some challenges. You know, countries like Uganda do not permit for gayism. Uganda ain't far from Tanzania. Africans will share the same values. So cultural misunderstanding can be in form of this one also. I'm not saying that gayism is the only thing that happens as a cultural misunderstanding. We have so many things. So misunderstanding about local customs or tradition can occasionally lead to uncomfortable situations. I don't need to name those uncomfortable situations, or you know them. Now, what should you consider? It is important to note that many Black Americans have successfully relocated to Tanzania and have positive experiences. Now that is the bright side of this. Engaging with the local communities, learning the language, and understanding the culture can help in overcoming these challenges. Additionally, conducting thorough research and seeking advice from expatriates who have already made the move can be beneficial. And I'm really helping you overcome these things, you see. So if you're in Tanzania and you're looking for places to move, you can check out Dar es Salaam, you can check out Zanzibar, you can check out Serengeti National Park, you can check out Ngorongoro Crater, you can check out Arusha, you can check out the local community. We have the Maasai in Tanzania. You might learn some Swahili culture, Swahili language, visit some marketplaces and street scenes, learn some education and work settings of the Tanzanian, enjoy the natural beauty. That is, if Tanzania is your cup of tea.
The fact that it's not easy to stay here in Tanzania, immigration-wise, it's very expensive. And also to try to sustain yourself is very difficult because you have to try to find streams of income. You have to have online gigs or streams of income, and you have to do it online basically, because unless you have a work permit, you're not really allowed to work here in the country unless you have a work permit. So it could be very pricey because work permits are not cheap. So that is kind of like the bad part. And also you must have a residency permit if you want to stay long term here. That is very pricey as well. The prices can range based on if you have a registered business, or if you don't have one, the prices are different. If you have a registered business with the Tanzanian partner. The prices are going to be different, but the prices are different for all the different stages that you are at here, meaning if you want to get a residency permit and you have a registered business, and or if you want to have one registered as a foreigner, and or if you want to just get one, it would all be very expensive. So yeah, that's kind of like the bad part, but it's just expensive to stay here. So I think that's why many people are leaving also, because it's a beautiful country, it's a beautiful place, the people are beautiful, but it's just many of us come here and we're middle class, some of us lower class, and we don't have a lot of money, so it's just very pricey to live here long term. So and then also paying rent 3 to 6 months. It's not always so easy to get a month-to-month lease, but it's possible. All things are possible when you can negotiate, but just for the most part, it's very pricey to be here. And then finally, the bad. I'm sorry, the ugly. The ugly is a two-part ugliness. So the first ugly part is the fact that many of the locals, the Tanzanians, do not know who we are. So they kind of see us as just any average foreigner, which we are actually Africans. They don't necessarily see us as Africans all the time, especially if they know we're from America. Over here, they hear our accent, and we speak like English a certain way. Sometimes we're treated as foreigners in that we're overcharged for items and things, and then also when we go to leave the country or whatever, we're asked kind of questions like, you know, which is common for a foreign person to be asked, but it's still kind of ugly in the fact that we are still Africans, and we are the 6th region Africans, and we were dispersed over 500 years ago. So it is really disheartening and kind of sad and ugly to be kind of treated like and treated like a foreigner, like we don't belong here when we are African as well. No, we don't. We weren't born here, and we don't know exactly where we are, where our tribe is, and what area of the continent that we're from. But being that we're here in Africa, and to be treated or ask questions from fellow Africans, questions pertaining to like, why are we here, when are we leaving, like it's just kind of disheartening, guys. I'm just saying it's kind of ugly. It's a hurting feeling, but it is what it is. It's what we experience here. And also another ugly part of being here is the fact that how some of us as diaspora behave ourselves here. I have to touch on that. It is a sensitive subject, but a lot of times we come here to African countries with our toxic behaviors. That is not a good thing. That's the ugliness that I have noticed and experienced here on the continent of Africa. We're broken coming from the West, specifically from America. We're broken and abused and neglected and killed and murdered and disrespected in all kind of ways. And then we come here, and a lot of times we don't realize that we are toxic, and then we bring that behavior here to the continent, which makes the continent of Africans not really care for us, or not be so interested in dealing with us or working with us in business, and or even giving us good deals or good prices because of a lot of our bad behaviors. The unfortunate part is many of them don't know us personally, so they generalize. So if they see one, African American misbehave or rude or disrespectful or something like that, then they just group us all together and they assume that we're all that way when we're not. We're all different ages and we have all different experiences. So it is the ugly part of, from what I've experienced being here on the continent 1 year and 4 months, that's one of the ugliest parts of just being in this environment.
Just remember, no country in Africa is perfect. For that reason, I highly recommend that you do your homework, do your research. Always do your research before coming to any country. Always. And please, it's good when you come with enough money to support your living standards in Africa. Thank you. And kindly subscribe and also check out my partner's channel. She helps make these videos possible. I'll leave the link in the description and in the comment section. Guys, always make sure that you do your research before coming to Africa, before coming to any country whatsoever, be it Tanzania, be it Ghana. Do your research and please come while having some amount of money to support your living here. And if you come to Tanzania, Ghana, or any other country, come and live like the Africans live. And you know, here we tell the truth unapologetically. And this is EFK Original Documentaries. Thank you for watching and kindly do subscribe. It helps your boy a lot. It really helps me a lot. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers. The devil is a liar, but we have overcome him. Subscribe. See you in the next one.
See you too.